What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Dillian, the body snatcher, Whyte. Dillian Whyte threatens to embarrass Deontay Wilder. How? Here's how. He says the WBC needs to speak to him because I'll start publishing documents and then he'll be really embarrassed. Dillian Whyte has laughed off Deontay Wilder's claims that he's a liar, and he has official documents to prove that he tried to force a fight with the WBC champion. That's now no big surprise. But Wilder has aimed a fresh verbal attack at Whyte, suggesting that the British heavyweight would already have faced him if he had previously accepted fights against Luis Ortiz or Dominic Breazeale. But Whyte is unwilling to humiliate the American by displaying confrontation from the WBC that he formally requested a final eliminator with Breazeale, only for the Californian to be pulled out for a mandatory fight against Wilder last May instead. Okay, Deontay Wilder needs to relax and behave himself. Whyte told Sky Sports the WBC needs to speak to him because I'll start publishing these documents. He'll be embarrassed. I actually pushed for the WBC documents showing that I actually published WBC documents showing that I requested and accepted these fights, and I've agreed to these fights, and everyone knew. I was mandated to fight Breazeale and Tyson Fury at my insistence. We made the fight with Breazeale, and the WBC pulled him out to fight Deontay Wilder. How can he say I didn't want to fight Dominic Breazeale? He says, I've also made loads of offers to Ortiz over the years, and he's turned all them down. Facts, not fiction. Okay, now, that was a lot to digest. Dillian Whyte's threatening to embarrass Deontay Wilder with these documents. The question is, you ask yourself, because I know this is what the defense of this will say, meaning the Wilder fans and everyone else that is against Matchroom or whatever, right? They're going to say, well, why didn't you come out with these documents before? Well, that is a good question, because to embarrass Deontay Wilder, I think he's already done that with the AK and Barack exposure of the email or the inbox direct message that he got from Deontay Wilder. And Wilder already said, hey, I don't have to fight you. I can freeze you out for 2 years. I'm not going to sign anything. I'll fight Ortiz, but then you got to fight. He's not going to do that. He's not going to sign that. Look, that by itself, all that exonerates the idea of him taking on Luis Ortiz and getting a good deal, because if Deontay Wilder was really about his word, he would have honored that. He would have said, okay, put it in the contract. If you fight Ortiz, then I'll fight you. Okay? And Deontay Wilder said he's not signing that. But what we couldn't see is what AK and Barack saw, right? Now, not saying it's not true, because there's proof. You know, two guys have heard it. I think Dillian Whyte should do this. I don't think he should threaten to do anything. I think because he didn't threaten Deontay Wilder when he showed AK and Barack on media and all type of other platforms that Deontay Wilder was ducking him. So I don't even think he should say, hey, he needs to calm himself down and, you know, he needs to relax and behave himself. I don't think he needs to say any of that, because I think at this point, I think what he needs to do is expose the WBC for what they are. Look, the WBC, just like any sanctioning body or just like any other organization, right, that has credos and, you know, things they go by, their integrity quotes and whatnot. There's corruption in a lot of places, and that's organizations, and that's from the top all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so things can happen, things can be corrupt. This is evidence of that. You know, take for example the Dominic Breazeale thing. I don't know how Deontay Wilder can say that Dillian Whyte did not want to fight Breazeale, where he already was in place to fight Breazeale for an eliminator. But get this, let me drop a dime on you guys and let you know what happened. Those guys were going to fight for an eliminator simply because the WBC knew it was some shady shit between Dillian Whyte and Dominic Breazeale. Dillian Whyte being #1 mandatory, and Dominic Breazeale being ranked number 4. So what they did was they were like, okay, since Deontay Wilder is fighting Tyson Fury, we're going to have you two guys fight for whoever the winner is between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. But you know who messed that up? Tyson Fury. Because Tyson Fury decided, you know what, I'm walking away from this 50-50 deal with you because what I have from ESPN is a lot more valuable to me, and he took that deal. Deontay Wilder was pissed. Of course he was pissed. He was disappointed because he wanted that fight more than any other fight for some strange reason. I don't know, but he did. Right? But it wasn't happening then. Now, they tried to counter offer Deontay Wilder. He wasn't having that either. You know? So, at that point, Deontay Wilder still needed a fighter. He needed a fight. He needed an opponent. So, what the WBC did was snatched Dominic Breazeale away from the deal that he already agreed to, okay, in fighting Dillian Whyte, and put him in with Deontay Wilder. Now, you can't blame really Dominic Breazeale for that. You can't. They should have told, Deontay Wilder should have fought anyone else. See, that was a clear sign, people, that Deontay Wilder should have just fought fucking Anthony Joshua for undisputed. Why would you even be worried about a fight when your sanctioning body mandated it, and that guy told your sanctioning body to go fuck themselves? That's what he said. That's what he done by joining ESPN. I don't have to fight you or anybody else. The WBC knows where to go, and that's what he told them to do, right? So what they did was, okay, we can't tell Tyson Fury what to do, so we're going to make Dominic Breazeale Deontay Wilder's mandatory and leave Dillian Whyte out in the cold. So again, how the fuck did Dillian Whyte duck Dominic Breazeale? That makes no sense. Okay, it makes no natural sense. That's some bullshit. Now, the WBC documents that's showing the requested acceptance of fight that he's agreed to these fights, everyone knew. Yes, I just explained that to you. You know, but next, I want to talk to you guys about Ortiz. He says, I've made loads of offers to Ortiz over the years, and he's turned them all down. Facts, not fiction. Now, look, at this point, again, Dillian Whyte needs to come out. I think he needs to do this breakdown by breakdown by breakdown. Get with someone like Sky Sports, IFL TV to expose this. He could do it on his social media if he really wanted to, okay? But that needs exposure. He needs to let people know that, hey, this is the deal. This is the real about Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz. Right? And Dominic Breazeale, really, because Dominic Breazeale didn't have to honor it, but I mean, he was, you know, it was like fight Dillian Whyte for an eliminator or fight the fight before the eliminator. Why would you want to fight Dillian Whyte and you could lose? Which I wanted to see that fight, honestly, but it is what it is. Again, I don't blame Dominic Breazeale, but it's just how these guys were being played like fools and puppets this whole time, where the WBC was telling them to do anything they wanted to do, right? That's what was happening. So they were running things, first of all, unfairly, but then how they wanted to. But they weren't doing it to benefit anyone but themselves or Deontay Wilder, okay? Now, for Ortiz, a lot of speculation has been because of Ortiz, especially pro-Wilder fans and everybody on that side. That, is, of course, is against Matchroom. Look, you got Matchroom over here. You got PBC, Fox Showtime over here. Matchroom, DAZN USA, Matchroom, those guys. Then you have PBC, Fox Showtime over here. So you got all these, you have these two opposites, okay? And these guys are sharing and throwing around things and using, you know, social media and people to, you know, to peddle bullshit. So if Dillian Whyte has proof that he offered Ortiz emails, documents, whatever he says he has, do that shit. He doesn't need anyone's permission to do that. Because at this point anyway, who says that Deontay Wilder will ever fight Dillian Whyte? Who will say that fight will ever happen? Okay, and I'll get to that in a second. But as far as Ortiz goes, he needs to expose Ortiz and his crew, or his team. Because there's the same little weird shit happened when Team Joshua offered Ortiz that amount of money. But then Ortiz himself saying, I'll fight you for any type of money. Then when a huge amount of money was offered to you, your team turned it down. Put on social media a bunch of bullshit slander. Eddie Hearn was like, what the fuck, mate? What are you doing? We're negotiating here and you're going to social media with this shit? Now, doesn't that kind of sound like the same shit that happened a year before that with Deontay Wilder going to the social media and saying, blasting about the amount of money, the 12.5 million? Ask yourself this question. How many motherfuckers have made that? Did Mikey Garcia make that? Did Canelo Alvarez make that when he fought Floyd Mayweather? How many of these guys made $12.5 million? Did Andrade make 12.5? Did Danny Jacobs make 12 million? No. Nobody. Think about how many people made 12.5 million, and that was the first offer. Okay? But it sounds really familiar on what Team Ortiz did versus what Team Wilder done. Okay? It's like they did the same shit. They, instead of negotiating in private, like Deontay Wilder, if everything gets hush-hush, the deal will get made. But that's the last thing you did. So obviously that's telling me you didn't want that fight, or you didn't want to negotiate with them no longer. Okay? Because it's too similar. You guys going to social media while negotiating for a potential fight. This is about business. This isn't about exposure. If you're trying to work on getting a job, the last thing you want to do, if you want that job at this particular place, is blast how bad the job salary is. That's stupid. The only thing you could really do is, no, we're negotiating because I want more money. You ain't going to go tell the press, hey, this company that I've applied for is not paying me what I want. That makes no sense. None. Okay? Now, I will say this in closing. He should do this. Okay? Dillian Whyte should do this. Go and get it done. And mark my words, people. If some strange, funny, weird shit happens to Dillian Whyte again, like, oh, this happened with drug tests and this happened over here and this, we heard this about him and something wasn't right with the sample and the B sample was good, but the C sample C was inconclusive, so they had to put him on suspension and this, that. If that happens again, we already know that it was all a fucking stitch up. That's what we will know at that point. That people want to shut Dillian Whyte up, and this is the exact reason why. Because he's trying to expose everyone that's corrupted, and he knows they're corrupted. If he has documents saying what he tried to do and everyone else is saying he didn't, it's corruption already. Someone's lying. And it's Dillian Whyte's job to prove it ain't him. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this particular article. I'll leave it below. Let you guys check it out in its entirety. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.